What's up guys, Qehzy here, bringing you guys another tutorial. This time I'm going to show you how to make this cool Star Wars banner. I made this like last week. Actually, it was over a span of 3 weeks, but I think it's a really cool banner, and this is like kind of the style of banners I'm getting into, just like modeling scenes and stuff. You guys requested a tutorial, so I'm just going to show you how to make this exact one. And hopefully that'll help you spark your ideas for your own styles and ideas, things similar to this. In this tutorial I'm going to be showing you just how to make this main part in Cinema 4D. I'm also going to include an unlisted video of how to, like, me making these smaller ships, which I spent a lot of detail in. And if you want to pick up a few things in Cinema 4D, watching that might help you with that. But I'm going to make the Cinema 4D part of this. And then if you guys want, and this video gets 100 likes, I'll put the Photoshop part in next. But yeah, so let's get started. I'm in the newest version of Cinema 4D, I believe. I think it's the newest, I don't know, they're always coming out with new ones. But basically, I'm going to be using text as the main part of the spaceship. So I'm going to go ahead and grab some mode text, make sure it's middle. And I'm just going to use the same exact font and text setup as I did in the banner I showed you. So I didn't do anything with the caps, left it normal, about 40 depth I believe, but the depth really didn't matter because you can always change it later on. Font, this will be quicker, air cruiser, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and rotate that downwards 90 degrees, and then I'm gonna center it with the x-axis here as best as I can. Like somewhere in there, maybe that's a little too far. That's about good. Alright, now we want to create the spaceship. Actually, let's bump this up. Alright, so to make the spaceship, it's just basically me manipulating cubes. So I'm going to grab a cube. Also, make sure your display is on whatever that word is, shading lines. So you can see the lines, that's really helpful. And let's just resize this. So if you grab the yellow points, you can easily resize cubes and things. So I'm just going to bring that down. Actually, I'm going to bring it up a bit and just lower it like so. Okay, and make it a little bit thinner. We want to keep a little bit of space though, so about there works. And let's make it long enough. Okay, and I'm gonna make sure the text is fairly in line. So let's get that. We're gonna bring it up just a bit. Alright, that should be centered. Alright, sweet. Now we got our setup. Now this is where you want to brainstorm your idea of what you're gonna create. Basically, I knew I wanted to create a spaceship that was fairly simple. I just wanted like a bump here, the wings here, and like a little bit of a point in the front, which I really don't like how I did this point, but I mean, I couldn't really figure out a better way to do it, but I think I'm going to try something else for this tutorial. If you notice in this, I actually use the eye to create those points instead of making like a solid triangle, but I think I'm going to try a solid triangle in this tutorial for you guys. So yeah, so we got this cube. Let's go ahead and duplicate it, and we're just going to create the wings as the first thing. So we duplicated the cube. Let's bring it in a little bit, make it a little thinner, and we're going to bring it out into the to the back. Alright, the wing is pretty easy to adjust size and stuff, so don't really worry about the size yet. I'm going to bring it out. And I'm just going to make these all even numbers, so I'm going to go to 35, 17, 130. Alright, and let's hit C on the keyboard, get your selector, the live selection, and go down to polygons. Let's select the outside panel, go to scale, and we're just going to scale it in. Like a decent amount, so that's pretty good. And then we're gonna change the height of it, make it like a little thinner. There we go. And then let's go to the move tool and move it over just a bit. And as you can see, this is a really small wing for a ship this big. So we're going to go back to the model and scale, and we're going to scale the size here, something like that. And we're just going to move it so it fits right on our main box here. So there we go, pretty good. But as you can see, that's a pretty boring wing. So what we're going to do is select polygons again, select the top panel, and we're going to right click, knife, make sure you're on the line mode, and you just want to create 2 segments here, so like maybe there and there. And in my actual project I created 4 segments, but I prefer 3. I think it looks a bit better. But you can just create like cool looking panels. So the way I go about doing this, you can either not do it or just create like, just extrude it like this, just bump it up a little bit, that works too. But I like to extrude it. It might be a little too far, maybe like right there. Go to the rotate tool and just like give it some rotation. So it kind of looks like a flap type deal. Ever so slightly. I'm just going to do a slight amount there and drag it down. And as you can see, it's like a bit of a flap. I don't really know. I just think that looks cool. And it keeps like the angle going down rather than just being straight, if you know what I mean. But yeah, so I'm just going to do a slight variation of that to these other 2 panels. So I'm going to right click, extrude inner, go in a little bit, right click, extrude, and we're going to just rotate this one like this. Alright, move it down, and let's do this last one. We're going to do a little bit of both, so we're going to go that way, and a little bit this way. This is getting a little too much. There we go. That should work just fine. Alright, so that created kind of a cool looking wing. Just something a little different than normal. And when we add Greebler, which we're going to do later on, it should give it a cool look. So I like to stack my wings, so I'm going to duplicate this and bring this duplicated one down. Go to rotate, the rotation tool I guess actually, and just rotate it up a bit and move it back up. I rotated a little too much actually. Maybe like there. I'm going to select both of these, move them up so they fit on the ship, and I'm just going to make them a little bit thinner. Like that, that works. Alright, sweet. Now we're going to put these in a group, so select them both, right click, group objects, go to array, and click and hold and go to symmetry. Put that group in the symmetry effector. And you can see it's going to flip it on this side. We don't want to flip it on that side, so click on symmetry, go to mirror plane, go to XY, and boom, there we got our wings. You can add more detail, less detail, add whatever you want, and include in the symmetry, and it will copy it right over to the other side. But now we're going to create the top part, like the back, I guess. So we're going to go back to our original cube again, Control C, Control V to duplicate it. Go ahead and just drag it up a bit, and we're going to make it a little smaller, and we're going to put it like right here. Let's actually make sure we get these couple letters. So I want the H, the O, and the R, so I'm going to make sure it gets all of that. Somewhere like there. I think that should work. Boom, yeah. Alright. And then we're going to click the cube and we're going to add some segments. So I think we're going to add about, we'll go 3 segments. I think that should work just fine. Alright, and we're going to hit C on the keyboard, and we're going to go here where it says edges. I'm going to select this. Actually, I want to do something first. Go back to the model, bring it down a little bit more. Alright. Let's go to edges. Yeah, let's see on the keyboard again. and I'm gonna select this edge right here. If you notice, you'll get like a weird angle. So like if you drag it down, it goes like inwards like that, which is really annoying. Actually, that might work. You can get a pretty straight angle. I'm gonna go ahead and do that actually. Oh yeah, I didn't know that would actually flatten out like that. That's what we want. So you just want to create like a ramp looking effect here, or a ramp looking object here, which one of the letters, this middle, I think it's the H. Yeah, so this is where the H will land or lay, and we want to do the same thing to this side here. So wow, this is actually really handy that it works out perfect. Maybe I'll create a little more of a bump there, just give it a cooler look. Okay, neat. Now let's go to polygons and select the top panel, and we're just gonna create a little bit, thin it out a little bit, just to create a cooler shape. And then if we want, we can adjust where this is at. So we can move it back a little more, we can move it up a little more, whatever. I think I'm gonna move it back just a tad bit. I'm gonna actually move it up a little bit. There we go. I think I like that. Alright, so now let's select these edge panels, and we're going to create just a little more detail to the ship. And this is always like, you always get varying results when you try stuff like this, because it's just kind of doing random stuff. When I was creating this, I was just doing random stuff to see if I could get a cool look, and I happened to create a look I really liked. So I'm going to select those outside panels, extrude inner. I'm going to go until they don't overlap. So like right there, I think. Let me just make sure. Actually, I want to right click, come on, and go to bevel. And I want to bevel it so like right there, that works, just a little bit. And then we're going to do all the adjustments with the scale. So we're going to get the scale tool, and we're going to scale it in, scale it down. And boom, that's kind of the, that's like a perfect looking effect that I want. It's like kind of just like a distorted side that looks pretty cool. I'm actually going to scale it outwards a little bit. I don't know why this I feel like this just looks really cool on the like spaceship looking things. I don't know, but I want this to be colored red, so I'm gonna create a new material and just make it red, and I will add a different, better red material later on. Actually, it's probably gonna be very similar. Actually, I'm probably just gonna adjust that red later on to make it red. But the key is, if you want something a certain color, make sure you color it right away with just like a standard matte, and then go back and change it later on. I always do my materials at the end, just so rendering time isn't like a really long and awful. But yeah, so that's a cool little effect there. And one thing that I did in mine was I selected these outside panels and I just rotated them slightly. So let's go we'll go 2.4. Shoot. Alright. That one's only 2.3, but I don't feel like playing with it to get the exact same. And when you hold shift, it goes up to 10, but that's too much. But you want to play with that to make it even. I just don't want to spend time doing it, and that's close enough. And really, we're only going to be seeing one side of this, so it's not a big deal. Alright, so the next important part, I think, is the sides here. So, to get that effect, I used, like, Greebler to get kind of like a, I don't know, let me show you. So, like, these kind of pop out, and, like, the inside goes in. And to get that, I use Greebler, and that's how I got the idea to, like, fill in these sides. So I'm just going to add Greebler to everything I want to add Greebler to. If you don't have Greebler, go to Google, download, just search Greebler, find the download, get the download, install it. When you open up Cinema 4D, it'll ask you for a serial. You just put demo in, and it'll give you a free month. At the end of the month, it'll say you need a new like you need a serial, just write demo again, but like capitalize a letter or don't capitalize letter or something. Just like change it up, and you can just do that every month, and you can just have Greebler like as a free trial all the time. So people always ask me how to get that. That's how I do it. It's not really scamming. I mean, I'm just going for the demo every time. And yeah, but let's get that. And we want the original cube. So I'm gonna put that in there, and I'm gonna play with these settings a little bit. So go to base. Let's turn it down a little bit. And it's actually not, oh shoot. I want to go to 1, 2, 1, 2. It's weird. I don't know exactly how I got the indented like effect like that on mine, but maybe I can figure out the solution. So I'm gonna go to the cube in Greebler, hit C on the keyboard, go to selection, make sure I'm on polygons. I'm gonna uncheck the Greebler for now. Select loop selection. I'm gonna loop around, and I'm gonna right click and get the knife. And let's see if loop works. I don't know if it will. Alright, I think that's working. I think that's perfectly straight. Let's do it once, twice. Check the Greebler, and let's bump up. Go to the original settings actually. So let's go 5, 10, 5, 10. Alright, so it's kind of popping out at the wrong places, but that's really no big deal. Actually, we can kind of like artificially create this. So I'm just gonna select. I'm gonna use this tool. I'm gonna select the top. I'm gonna select the bottom. Select the top. Select the bottom. And we're gonna extrude it a little bit, like so. Let's check Greebler. And boom, there we go. We have a little bit of an indented effect going on. And I'm actually gonna bump it down just a bit. Alright, cool. Now we're gonna create this cool little effect. So in mine, the spacing was just like a little more, so I had a little more room to work with. And I guess I can just adjust that again. Let's just extrude it a little more. Actually, that's gonna look stupid. Alright. Boom. There we go. That's pretty close. That's as close as I'm gonna get for now. So I'm just gonna go with it. So I'm gonna get a cube and just go to like default move, the move tool and the model. And this is gonna be a pretty small cube. So let's make it pretty thin, pretty narrow, even a little more. Bring the height down. And we're gonna get it at the edge here. And we're gonna get it so it fits in here nicely. Alright, like that. Let's bring it over. And we're gonna add, oh, what segment? We're gonna add a Y segment. We're gonna hit C on the keyboard, go to edges, select that middle edge, and we're just gonna bring that back. And let's select the whole model and drag this out a little bit, and hopefully, yeah, boom, there we get that little effect. And we're just gonna copy and paste that down the whole thing here. Let me copy V, and let me get it into a different view. This should make it a lot easier, so you can get the spacing a little more accurate. So the first one really doesn't matter, is because you're creating the default spacing. So let's go about there. And the way I do this is I copy and paste all the ones I have, and then I move over and I line up the last one with the first one, And then I look where the next one will go. So as you can see, it's right in line with this white line, and I just line it up with that, like so, if that made sense. So I lined this one up with this one, looked where this one was, and it was right here, so I lined this one up with that one, if that made sense. Hopefully that kind of doesn't go over your head. I know it's really confusing the way I just worded that. But we're just going to keep doing that process all the way down. Okay, and how many more do we need? We'll just duplicate these 4. Alright, sweet. That should be perfect. And it is, and that's just like that's like a cool effect going down the side there. And we're gonna put this all in a group. And to make this easy on us, we're gonna go and get another symmetry and put that in there. And again, we have to make sure it's on XY. And voila. Now we have it on both sides. Real easy. And really, the one side doesn't really matter to the ship because it's not going to be visible. But you just like to do it just in case you might get a different look of things, if you know what I mean. Alright, so now this ship looks pretty boring without a front. So we're going to create a front. And I'm going to do it differently from how I originally did it. And I think it's going to make it a little bit better. So I'm going to go to the original cube that we now have in Greebler. I'm going to select these front portions. Let's go back to Greebler. Alright. I think I'm just going to extrude these out. Scale them inwards. I don't know exactly how far I want to go. But let's check the Greebler and see how this will look. Wow, I think that looks a lot better than what I had. Actually, it's a little odd. I don't know. I don't know if I like that or not. Maybe it's just a little too far. Maybe if I just... Ooh, actually, if I go really far, that might be pretty cool. It's like a little too big. That's what she said. I think I'm just gonna go for like a small little triangle like that. And then I'm gonna do the same thing we did with extruding these edges out, just so the sides look about even. Voila. Hopefully that doesn't make the tip look odd. Nope, that looks just fine. And I don't think I'm going to add this effect in there. I'm just going to keep it as it is. And maybe add some turrets in there, which is about to be our next step, is creating the turret. Alright, yeah, I think that's pretty cool. So, now we want to add some guns, because Star Wars ships have guns on them. And the one I created in this was the original Millennium Falcon one. And I just kind of copied and pasted that. So, I actually don't really remember how I went about doing it. But I think I can recreate it pretty easily. So let's go ahead and just start from scratch, essentially. So we're going to put everything in a group. Select it all, right-click, group, and we're going to double-click on these 2 dots, make them red. And let's get a cube. And what I'm going to do is make it a little less tall, make it more like rectangular. Alright. That'll be one side. And I'm just gonna hit C on the keyboard here. Go to polygon, select the top part here, extrude it, get the scale, move it in, and move it to one side, so like right there. I think that's pretty straight too. Alright, yeah, pretty cool. And I'm gonna use the symmetry tool again, pop that in, maybe bring it a little closer to the axis. like right there. There we go. And let's go to the bottom of this puppy. Select the bottom panel, the main big bottom panel. Let's go to extrude inner. And let's extrude down. And this is kind of like the platform where it'll sit. Pretty simple. And then let's select the top and just add a little bit of character. So let's extrude it inner. And actually, let's just drag it up. Like so. Alright. Pretty cool. And since this is a main detail, we don't really have to add too many details. So I'm going to get a cylinder. Put it on the Z-axis. Bring it out here a little bit. Decrease the radius. Make sure it's pretty centered. I'm actually gonna increase the radius, make it like the base a little bigger. Decrease the height. Alright, I'm gonna hit C on the keyboard. Zoom in here. Let's get the selector. Let's select this whole face. Right click, inner extrude. God dang it. Right click, extrude. And we just want to kind of slowly make it go into a thinner shot. So I think we're just going to do these two. So it starts thicker, it goes a little thinner, and then we're going to go pretty thin, which will be our final layer. So boom, that's like the final part of the gun. And again, we're going to just put that in the symmetry, and we're going to select these two items and group them. And boom, there is our turret. And actually, select both these and bring them a little closer so they're like almost one. There we go, that works. And I'm just gonna go ahead, double click on that and name it turret. And let's bring back the ship. And let's just decrease, actually, we're gonna right click, select children, hit C on the keyboard, right click, select children, right click, select children, make sure you have it all, hit C on the keyboard again, right click, connect objects and delete, and boom, okay, there we go, got our turret. Now let's scale it down, scale it pretty low, it's gotta be pretty small. Alright, that's about good. And let's put one on like the wing, I think. I can't even tell where this is at. Okay. Put one like right here. A little bit back. It's pretty cool, and then we can rotate that later on. Let's copy and paste this again, and put a turret somewhere in here. In between these two like pillars, there, boom, kind of just sticks out there. And we'll put one at the tip. And now we can start rotating. Let's rotate that original one. Alright, cool. Now, I just realized we did not add Greebler to the wings. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to duplicate where we have our original Greebler. Delete the cube inside because we already have that. Go to symmetry. I'm going to pop that symmetry into the Greebler. And boom. Put it back in the null. And if you notice, it covered up our turret actually. That's kind of disappointing. But I'm just going to go to the stock Greebles. And we're just going to uncheck them. And I think that should be good. Actually, I kind of want them, but I don't want them to be that big, so let's see. Let's go to the settings of the stock rebels. Let's change the height to about 1, or the min to 1. Max about 2 per polygon. Let's up that. There we go. And we're gonna have to bring that turret up a little bit anyway. About right there. Alright. Pretty cool. I think for the most part, that is all of the ship. Maybe I'm missing a few minor details. But that's essentially all I did. And I'm just going to go back to the wings here. I'm going to space them out a little more. And bring it up slightly. And actually I forgot to do the jet engines quick. But they're not too difficult, so let's go ahead and grab a cylinder. Could use a tube, I'm going to use a cylinder. Make it X plus X. Bring it back here. And it depends what kind of, you could just do like one big cylinder, I guess, if you want. I did 3 small cylinders. So let's bump down the radius. It's probably a little too much. Let me try to space these out pretty evenly first. Actually, no, I should probably do the radius. Let's get a... That's pretty solid, 24. Control C, Control V, or doesn't really wanna. Alright, do they all fit on? Indeed they do. They're a little too far out. Let's bring them back about there. Let's hit C on the keyboard. Right click, connect objects and delete, so now they're all one. Let's select the front panels on them all, so holding shift. Right click. Shoot enter. About right there. So you get a little bit of a lip, and then we're going to extrude inside just a bit. So, boom. There we go, a little bit of some engine action. And now let's go to the text part of this. So where is our text at? Here it is. This is going to be the main focus now for the rest of this, unless I missed something essential. I don't think I did. That is all I really wanted to do. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up this text now, so it's in line, so about there. Alright. I'm going to hit C on the keyboard, so this just kind of gets into a bunch of folders. I'm going to open them all up until it's just our text. There we go. And now we're going to just play with each of these letters. So I like to line them up first. So this H, as you can see, is kind of hiding. We're going to rotate. That's not what I wanted. We're going to rotate it up somewhere like there. Let's get the O, and we're going to have to bring it up a little bit more. And we're actually going to have to resize that, I believe, because it's... no, it should be fine. That'll give it a cool look. Center it a little bit. And let's get the R. We're going to rotate the R down. Voila. Actually, I think I'm going to do something with the H that I did in the original one. So let me actually redo all this. Shoot. Alright, bring the O up. Rotate the R. There we go, I think that should work fine. Yeah, it's not sticking out too much. Really, you can have a little bit of letters sticking out because they're like the text, they're the main part. They're not really technically a part of the ship, I guess. But that should look fine. And then for this H, I think I'm going to bring it up and extrude it a little more. And this is kind of where the cockpit sort of deal is going to be. I don't know if you can see it in the original. It's like glass there, which is what I meant to be like the main control station, if you will, of the ship. So I'm actually gonna bring it down a little bit, and you'll see why in a little. All right, so we're gonna start with the eye and work our way through. So obviously we don't have our textures yet, but I'm gonna select this. Let's see there. Select this. Or select the children and right click, connect objects, and delete. So we don't have our texture, so it's white and it's going to stand out a little bit, and it's kind of annoying. But it's whatever, you just have to wait till the end where we texture it. But I'm going to get some greebler and put the eye in the greebler. And we're going to change the settings a little bit. We're going to go to base and go to height of 2.5, bevel of 2.5. There we go. And I've noticed this, I don't know if it's this font or like the greebler or what's going on, but when I try to greeble text, like doesn't really want to work. So you just kind of have to add effects to the letters for them to do cool things. So I like to extrude them inner. As you can see now, the effects are starting to take place. And I'm going to extrude it up. Okay. There we go. And that should look alright. Maybe just add a few lines here. So get the knife tool and I'm gonna take it off a loop, go to just line, and just create something like that. And for some reason it's not really doing much. There we go, now it's starting to want to act. And yeah, that's pretty cool. The greebles are being a little too thick. So I'm going to go ahead and go to stock greebles and make it a height of 1 and 2. Sweet. Now we're just going to repeat this process with all these letters that we have so far, except for the H. We're going to leave that alone for now. So I'm going to go ahead and just speed it up real quick here. Okay, so here we go. I kind of added some effects to, or I just basically added greebler to all these letters. For the O, I kind of like tilted just so it like fit the shape of the spaceship a little bit. Kind of looks like the main like engine part, I guess. I don't know. Just gives it like a cool like headquarters-y look. I don't know. I like it. But for this H now, we're gonna duplicate. Got something in my mouth. We're gonna duplicate that H, and actually, yeah, we'll duplicate that. Keep it there for now. And let's go to the original one. Select children. C on the keyboard. Right click. Select children. Right click. Connect objects and delete. Duplicate one of these to get the greebler, and put it in the greebler. Of course, it never actually wants to do anything. Actually, let's delete this H because it's not important. I don't know why I thought we could do that. This would be much easier. I'm going to select this top part and kind of just extrude inner. Actually, now I want to duplicate the H because this is what I want to have. Duh. But let's play with this. I'm going to hide this for now. And I'm just going to extrude. Maybe that'll work. Nope, not going to want to work. Let's play with the knife. Come on. This is really being gay. Like, I don't know why it doesn't want to greeble. It's actually mad frustrating. If I extrude one of these, though, it should work. So, there we go. I don't know why it does that. Like, you extrude one thing and then it kind of pops up. But, alright, let's get back to this H now. So, that duplicated H, we're going to go and bring it up. Now it's really, really thick. I'm just going to adjust that. So this is going to be the top part. I'm going to say about right there works. And I'm going to duplicate it. Put it down in between. And I'm gonna adjust the size again, maybe make it a little longer. Select the bottom of this, so voila. And go to scale, and I'm gonna scale it down. And it's not gonna wanna work. I forgot about that. Shoot. So I would make the here, this will actually be easier. I don't know why I didn't do this. Let's go select the bottom of this one, right click, extrude, bring that down. This is what I did. Why am I always forget what I originally do and try to make things harder. Now we're gonna scale it down. Maybe scale it wide or a little bit. Okay. And that just creates a slight slant down, which is kind of where like headquarters would be, like where you control the ship. So I'm going to create a new material, and this is just going to be like the glass, like where they look out of. So if you know what I mean, I don't know if you know what I mean, but I do. So I'm going to select that portion, loop it around, make that black, and hopefully you guys are kind of understanding what I'm saying here. Like, this is where they control the ship from, so like, it's where they're all at, and like it's the glass, and, you know, and you can see like around, mainly everywhere except behind you. But yeah, there we go. That's basically the entirety of the ship. Then we just need to set up our camera angle. So it's like something like there. Add a camera. And now we need the textures. So I used the same texture essentially the whole time, throughout the whole ship for everything. And to create that, I'm just going to go to new material. Hopefully I still have this project on my desktop. I don't think I deleted it. No, okay, good. So I'm going to go ahead, go to color, go to where it says texture, click on that down arrow, go to filter, click on the black square, go to texture, and I'm going to go to my Star Wars project, and it should be this, it's called 11 spaceship 2 T2 whatever. I'm gonna have the download in the description, doesn't really matter, you just download that. I'm gonna open it, don't want to save it there. Okay, so I guess we could add some reflectance and stuff, but I'm just gonna see how it looks as is first. And I'm actually gonna go to this red and turn off the reflectance, and this is gonna be like the actual red stripe that we use. But let's open this puppy up. Drag this on there, put it in front of the stripe, of course, and we're going to go to cubic, and that's it. We're just going to keep on cubic, and we're going to hold command and add this to everything. Boom, there we go. And I'm not in a Lightroom currently, so I don't really want to render this out. But I want to add a little bit more of some stripes, so it's not completely dull and whatnot. So I'm just going to add a stripe going along here somewhere. So let's select this. Come on, let me know which object it is. It's so frustrating, Symbol 4D. Thank you. So right here. Alright. So I'm just gonna... You can't really color over the greebler or whatever. Like, it's super gay. Maybe if I just move this down there. And select a portion of this. Nah, that's not gonna work. Frick. This will be easier. I'm just gonna select the greebler, select children. C on the keyboard, right click, select children, C again, right click, select children, right click, connect objects and delete. And I'm going to delete this Fong tag. And let's see, what do we want to make the red stripe? Let's just select this and this. And we're gonna, can I just, no, that's not what I want. Let's right click, extrude enter, and pop that puppy on. Okay, that works. Good enough for me. Alright, so I'm going to open up my Lightroom and transfer this in. And sort of just, I'm not going to set up my scene like I have here with all the ships circling around. Basically, I just placed them at random places, like there wasn't much to it. Kind of just keep duplicating, copying, and then moving down a layer of all the ships. I ended up having like a shit ton of these ships like all over the place. But like these are the only ones that are seen, which is not many. So let me just open up the Lightroom. By the way, you can download all my like models and stuff in my store. You can buy them there. Oops, that's not what I want. Alright, as you can see, there's just like a shit ton of ships, and basically I got the ships, kind of tilted them, put them different places, and then copied and pasted it, moved it down, turned it, copied and pasted it, moved it down, and it kind of created depth throughout the whole thing. So that's really not too difficult. Let me go back to this window. Just plop that in there. Copy this. Boom. What is just that whole ship? Just delete that. Boom. Let's render this out, see how we did. As you can see, that looks alright. Pretty good. The ships is a brighter color than everything else. So I think I'm gonna just turn down the like mixture rate, if you know what I mean. So if I go into this material, the mix strength, I'm just gonna turn that down a bit and make sure the color is a little darker. Just so it doesn't stand out. But as you can see, that turned out pretty good. I think the H here might have should have put in Griebler, but really not a big deal. Probably could add a little more detail to this tip then, like that front facing part. And shoot, let me just, this is my charger. But yeah, that's basically how I did that whole ship and the whole scene. If you guys want the scene for yourselves, you can buy it in my store, like it's in my model pack. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and if we get 100 likes, I'll be doing the Photoshop part. So yeah, see you guys then. Peace.